Okay, so, everyone's talking about how crazy the economy has been lately, and it's true, right? It kind of feels like we're on this wild roller coaster ride. And when things feel that unpredictable, I don't know about you, but I tend to maybe not make the best financial decisions. It's like when the world feels out of control, I want to grab onto something I can't control. And that often means spending money, even if I know deep down that it's probably not the smartest move. So we're going to talk about that today. This whole idea of doom spending, which is basically like retail therapy, but maybe a little more intense. It's that urge to buy things you don't really need just to feel a little more in control, when everything else feels like it's falling apart. I think we've all been there, right? Like you see those headlines about inflation and all of a sudden you're stocking up on toilet paper like we're back in 2020 or something. Or maybe you're worried about your job and you just have to renovate your kitchen right now. Does this sound familiar to anyone? Well, you're not alone, trust me. Studies have shown that something like 1 in 5 Americans are doing this kind of emotional spending. But, and here's the thing, doom spending isn't just a harmless way to blow off some steam, unfortunately. We make things worse, financially speaking. And it often comes down to some, I don't know, like psychological tricks that our brains kind of play on us. Have you ever heard of scarcity mentality? It's basically this idea that when we feel like things are scarce or uncertain, like our finances, for example, we kind of cling to things we can control. And for a lot of people, that's buying stuff. Then there's this thing called present bias, where we tend to prioritize feeling good right now over our long-term goals. So yeah, that rush of buying a new gadget feels a lot more real and important than that nagging thought about your growing credit card balance. Speaking of credit cards, this doom spending thing is a big reason why so many people are going deeper into debt. Did you know that like 34% of borrowers are taking on more debt this year? That's a crazy number. And when you think about how much credit card debt there already is in America, it's over $1.2 trillion. So it's kind of a scary situation. And here's the thing about that mountain of debt. It's not just sitting there. It actually grows because of this thing called compound interest. It's like a snowball rolling down a hill, right? It picks up more snow as it goes and gets bigger and bigger. That's kind of how debt works. Every day that you don't pay it off, more interest gets added on, and then you start paying interest on the interest. It can really spiral out of control if you're not careful, which is why it's so important to tackle those high interest debts, ASAP. Now, I'm not saying I have all the answers. Nobody knows exactly what's going to happen with the economy next month or next year. But instead of getting all caught up in the doom and gloom, what if we focused on the things we actually can control? That sounds a lot better, right? So first things first, you got to have an emergency fund. This is like your financial safety net. It's there to catch you if something unexpected happens, like a medical bill or you have to fix your car. Having that money set aside can make all the difference in helping you avoid going deeper into debt when those unexpected things pop up. And I know it's not as fun as buying new stuff, but paying down your debt, especially those high-interest credit cards, it just feels so good. I mean, think about how much stress you'll relieve when you don't have those balances hanging over your head. So here's a question for you. If you could change one thing about your financial future, what would it be? Would you want to be completely debt-free? Would you love to have a big emergency fund so you can sleep better at night? Just take a second and really think about what's important to you financially. That can make a huge difference in how you approach your spending habits, especially when the world feels a little bit crazy.